My name is Brigid. I work at the Foundling Museum as a volunteer. The object I've chosen is the marble above the mantelpiece in the courtroom. It's got an image of babies working, some working in the fields, one perhaps a young woman milking a cow, and the other babies, very like cherubs, are actually pulling ropes and hauling a ship. So I'm presuming that it's predicting the kind of work they will do. And in the very centre is an image of a young woman, and that is charity. So the idea of the marble is to show what charity is. She's got a babe in her arms, and another little babe is reaching up to be picked up. So I guess it's all about rescuing and perhaps giving people dignity in work eventually, but also very sort of showing the kind of status that will be expected of them, that's the kind of work they would be expected to do. Very socially useful, if you like. Almost that it was set in stone that that's what they would be doing in their futures. So it was definitely a good selling point for the Foundling Hospital. But it's also kind of sad as well, because it's saying they won't do anything else. They'll just do those things. So, and there's nothing wrong with doing those things, but it's like there might be children that are gifted at certain things, but maybe they wouldn't have the chance. I do know that the Foundling Hospital did, in a way encourage music, but of course there could have been other things that children could have grown up to do. But equally in it, I really do see the dignity of work and toil, what most people have to do. You asked us to find something in our homes that meant something to us, and I picked a very, very old biscuit tin. It was probably from the 40s or possibly the 50s. The tin had really romantic images. It was Robbie Burns' poetry, and in the tin was all our family photos, and a lot of them, when people would take them out, were all black and whites, but the stories that were told were very romanticized. They obviously weren't completely true, but for me, they were kind of set as history. They became the history of the family, and actually a lot of it sort of hid difficult things. That was interesting, and of course, it's a bit like the marble. The marble is sort of an ideal image, and it's the way we end up telling our story. And I just wonder how many hidden stories there are, obviously, with all the foundling children. And even in our own lives, there's so many stories that can be retold or investigated, maybe. It's really important, if possible, to search for the truth. And I know there are perhaps different versions of the truth, and I can't really see the marble from their point of view. I'm only seeing it from my point of view. Like, I may appear a little bit cynical about it, but actually, it probably was full of good intentions, just like charities are now. But I guess to just consider that we're looking at an image, but behind it, the whole story of little children with real, these are little sort of idealized little babies, but actually, of course, you've got to think of real life. And for that child, for that baby to get to being a worker, there's a whole history and a whole story in between. And of course, you get the feeling that some of it was really harsh. And we've all got inherited histories. And I do think that trauma sort of works its way out in generations. So I think it is really important to share stories.